Former President Donald Trump's attorney Roberta Kaplan claimed in a court document on Sunday that some of his statements on Truth Social were about things that have no business being spoken about for the aforementioned reasons. In our letter to the court, we continue to object to Mr. Trump's social media statements regarding the former president's civil rape trial. The social media postings have been cited by the court as a fresh source of potential liability for Trump, because Joe Tacopina promised the court he would do so. The attorney claimed she was against the remarks remaining viewable to members of the network because Trump calls the trial a farce in the postings. Donald Trump, a former president, will not testify in the civil battery and defamation case against E. Jean Carroll because his attorney failed to notify the court of any change in strategy by the judge-imposed deadline of 5 p.m. on Sunday. District Judge Lewis Kaplan had given Trump a window to testify, despite the fact that the former president's lawyer had said it was highly unlikely during the trial. Trump intimated in his public remarks that he would appear in court before the trial was over. Therefore, the judge stated he had imposed the precaution as a result. The case's closing arguments will start on Monday, and the jury will likely hear the case on Tuesday. Carroll, a former magazine writer, claims Trump sexually assaulted her at the Bergdorf Goodman department store in the middle of the 1990s. Trump denies this, claims she wasn't his type, and suggests Carroll made up the incident to increase book sales. According to Carroll, Monday morning's closing arguments in Donald Trump's civil rape trial involving Eugene Carroll are scheduled. The video deposition Donald Trump gave during his civil violence and defamation action has been made public. In addition to acknowledging that he made the allegedly defamatory remarks, Carroll's accusations that he sexually attacked her in a Bergdorf Goodman's dressing room in the mid-1990s were untrue, and that she is not his type. Trump also told Carroll's attorney that she is not his type. Attorneys for Eugene Carroll and Donald Trump are scheduled to make their closing arguments on Monday morning in the violence and defamation trial against a former president in Manhattan federal court. He also refers to Carroll by a number of nicknames throughout the deposition, including nut job, whack job, and mentally sick. Trump allegedly sexually attacked Carroll, a former magazine writer, in the spring of 1996 at the Bergdorf Goodman department store. After disputing the claim, Trump reportedly defamed Carroll by saying she made it up to boost book sales and that he wasn't her type. The legal teams representing Carroll and Trump put their separate cases on pause over the course of 7 trial days on Thursday, claiming that Trump has denied all wrongdoing. 11 witnesses, including the author herself, were presented by Carroll's defense team. Trump made no attempt to defend himself and ultimately opted not to testify. District Judge Lewis Kaplan gave the former president until Sunday night to ask the court to reopen his defense case specifically so that he could testify. Although he has a right to testify, which has been waived if he changes his mind, I'll at least take it into consideration. And maybe we'll see what happens. In light of Trump's public comments that day, Kaplan informed the attorneys that the precautionary measure was required by the judge, who stated as much in court on Thursday night. Trump told reporters in Ireland on Thursday that he would likely attend the trial despite never having entered the courthouse during the trial while playing golf in distant Ireland. "I have to go back for a woman who made a phony accusation about me," Trump said. "Before I begin, kindly hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications to always be informed whenever we post any breaking news." Marjorie Taylor Greene has been mocked by her supporters and followers and even disqualified for abusing and assaulting the CDC doctors and saying he is not smart at all. In this video, I will break it down for you. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's CDC Rochelle Wolenski has announced she will retire at the end of June and reprint RGA Marjorie Taylor had a thigh eye. Pregnant women are called by Rochelle Wolenski. Nadell asserts that those who have received vaccinations are immune to the COVID-19 virus. Greene claimed that these two claims proved that she was not intelligent enough to lead the CDC and did not accept science. "She won't be missed, but she should still be held accountable," Greene added. Before President Joe Biden appointed Wolenski to head the CDC in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic, she served as a professor of medicine at Harvard Medical School and the chief of the Division of Infectious Diseases at Massachusetts General Hospital. She received criticism from the far right for taking the pandemic seriously and urging people to get vaccinated, but Greene has stated that she is not vaccinated. Her Twitter and Facebook accounts have previously been suspended for disseminating false information about the COVID-19 outbreak, including a graph she created based on inaccurate data that she claims showed numerous deaths brought on by the vaccines. In her tweet, Greene was referring to a statement made by Wolenski in April 2021, months before even half of the population in the U.S. had received the vaccine, in which she claimed that our data from the CDC today suggests that vaccinated people do not carry them. They don't claim to entirely prevent infection because the current state of knowledge does not support such claim. Greene, who mistook the quotation for a quote, is likely to have a problem with Wolenski's use of a phrase that includes transgender men and non-binary people who are capable of becoming pregnant, in addition to his advocacy for vaccines for pregnant people. Wolenski tweeted about how the increased risk of severe illness for pregnant people makes vaccination against COVID-19 more urgent than ever in August 2021. My term at CDC will always be the most treasured time I have spent working hard, necessary, and impactful work on Twitter. Wolenski wrote in her resignation letter, "I have never been more proud of anything I have done in my professional career." Some individuals agreed with Greene and questioned whether Wolenski would face criminal charges for his support of vaccinations. Greene was made fun of for claiming to be brighter than a Harvard Medical School student. MTG declaring someone not bright is perhaps one of the funniest things I've read today, tweeted Professor Yasmin Mary of RPFMC. What's wrong with calling expectant women birthing people? Mario Pawlowski argued that it is just exercising one's right to free speech. And she is correct. Keep silent until you learn how to turn a light bulb on and off because, in the words of John Muriel, you're as bright as a burnt-out light bulb. Let's discuss two statements, Patrick Placentino suggested. You'll never be able to preserve the homeland, as evidenced by Jewish space lasers and gazpacho police, among many other remarks. I appreciate you watching. In the comments box, let us know what you think about this news. Also, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and click the subscribe button. CPAC, a convention for conservative political action, was held in National Harbor, Maryland. American President Donald Trump internet image. In a few of the clips from Donald Trump's deposition in the Eugene Carroll lawsuit, MSNBC anchor Gage Skidmore, what do you think about the fact that Eamon Maheldon questions Cynthia Alexson, a former federal prosecutor, based on the 3 clips we've played for you from that day, his inability to recognize his ex-wife, the idiotic remark that stars have been doing it for a million years, and then that bit where he defends himself by saying you're not my type and criticizing the prosecution? Trump did not take a position, but did he make the right decision? Choice yes, Alton chuckled, but keep in mind that when he testifies during that deposition, he is speaking to the jury. And based on the first premise, we know that when he is presented with it, he not only fails to recognize Carol, but also believes she is Marla Maples, putting aside his attorney's illegal coaching of him. She is making reference to a section of the deposition when Trump is questioned about a picture of Jean Carroll and claims that she is Jean Carroll pour la here. When they turned to see Trump was pointing me to ponytail. Carol is the woman you just pointed out, and your wife Marla is the one to the right of Carol. This is significant because the jury has access to the image and they are aware that he lies when he is cornered. The deposition is for that reason he lied to them, because he is the one speaking to the jury, and in this instance he lacked candor. Trump's attorney gave instructions off camera, and what does he do when he is cornered like a rat? How does he respond? He tells falsehoods. Oh, it's hazy the bravery not only to approach them, but also to enter the courtroom and sit down instead of sending a tyrant to cross-examine this witness, in addition to lying to them while he was speaking to them, and being surrounded. I predict that it will be emphasized toward the end because I believe it to be important. The sexual assault and defamation cases against Trump and Jean Carroll have scheduled closing arguments. The jury in Manhattan Federal Court will hear closing arguments from counsel for Donald Trump and Carroll on Monday. Carroll is a writer who is suing the former president in a legal action, saying that he sexually assaulted her in the 1990s and then defamed her. Last Thursday, Joseph Tacofina, Trump's attorney, informed U.S. District Judge Lewis Kaplan that his client had opted not to offer a defense in the case and forfeited his right to testify in court, betting that the jury would find Carroll's argument to be unpersuasive. Trump said he would attend the trial that began on April 25 when speaking to reporters in Ireland last Thursday. but he has not yet done so. After Monday's concluding arguments, which Kaplan has scheduled for that day, the jury is anticipated to begin deliberations. In 1995, or 1996, Carol, 79, said that Trump, 76, had sexually assaulted her in a dressing room at the Bergdorf Goodman department store in Manhattan. He later denied this, vilifying her. Place Carol, a former advice columnist for Elle magazine, filed her lawsuit against Trump last year. She is alleging financial losses. According to Trump, who served as president from 2017 to 2021, and is currently the frontrunner for the Republican nomination for President of the United States in 2024, Carol allegedly made up the assertion to increase sales of her 2019 biography. She claims that throughout the 3 days of testimony and cross-examination, Trump defamed her in a post from October 2022 on the Truth Social page, calling her assertions a total fabrication and a scam. Carol claimed that Donald Trump attended the CPAC Conservative Political Action Conference in National Harbor, Maryland. Internet image. In a few of the clips from Donald Trump's deposition in the Eugene Carroll lawsuit, MSNBC anchor Gage Skidmore Eamon Mahelden made predictions on how the jury could react in the trial based on the data presented in the tape. He asked, "What do you think about that?" Cynthia Alexson is a former federal prosecutor. She said, "Based on what you've seen from that day and the 3 clips we've played for you, his inability to recognize his ex-wife, the idiotic remark that stars have been doing it for a million years, and then that bit where his defense is, 'You're not my type,' and attacking the lawyer there. Trump didn't take a stance, but did he make the right choice?" Alton chuckled. Mila Maples is referring to a point of the deposition where Trump is asked about a photograph of a woman, setting aside his attorney's improper coaching of him. She is referred to as Jean Carroll's second wife. Trump responds, indicating Marla in the picture. When they turned to see who Trump was pointing at, they spotted Carol, the Jean Carroll, who is the woman you just pointed at, and your wife Marla is the one on the right. Yes, that is my marriage. Off camera, Trump's counsel briefed him on what to do when he is cornered like a rat and how to respond when he makes lies. He continues by saying that this is relevant since the jury has access to the image and is aware that he lies when he is cornered. He lied to them during the deposition because of this. He is the one who addresses the jury, and in this case, he lacked the bravery to approach them, enter the courtroom, and take a seat instead of sending a tyrant to cross-examine this witness. In addition, he lied to them when he was speaking to them and was being surrounded. If you like our show, please don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Bye for now. See you in next one.